know that I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so I'm not at my best, but I did something really unusual for the first time in my life this year. Those of you who know me know that I'm an only child. I do spiritual stuff for a living. I don't have a partner and I have no children, and I am 55. So for the first time in my life, I decided to be home alone this festive period. And I may well have put way too much blusher on because I'm recovering from a cold from my going it alone Christmas time. So I thought I'd share with you how I've experienced it. I'm in the middle of nowhere near Glastonbury in the UK, and it's been a really interesting journey. I'm not sure what you did. Type below in the messages what you did for Christmas. But like I said, this was, whoops, I'm leaning on a gate. A little bit of a rocky one. We may even see some sheep. My house is in the distance over yonder, over there. But we're going to look at Glastonbury tour shortly, and we're going to talk about, I've seen so many videos. I have turned into Rudolph. I put so much blusher on to compensate that I'm full up with a cold. So on the 23rd, I'm not religious, if those of you who know follow me, I'm spiritual, but I think you can take out of it what you want. And I thought, why not go and sing some carols in the cathedral? So I went to Wells Cathedral with 2,000 people and sang carols, but I ended up getting a cold from just the energies of different vibrations, probably jibby-jabbed people. It's not my vibe, but that's what happened. Anyway, I know about Louis Pasteur and Anton Béchamp theories on germ and bacteria and all that. If you want to get into that, that's a whole other story. But that's why I've ended up with a bit of a cold. So I did that. Then the next day I did have a bit of a family time. I saw my cousin and my second cousin, and well, it's my cousin's wife because my cousin has passed away. So we had a little family time, and that was Christmas Eve. But then I chose to spend Christmas Day on my own, and I had a cracking Christmas Day. I cannot tell you how fabulous it was. In my lineage of Christmas days that I remember, which have included being with my parents as an only child, like I said to you, then escaping to London for a while, and then having various boyfriends and spending Christmas with the boyfriends. But interestingly, as I reflect back now, the Christmases where I have spent them with the boyfriends, one year I was with an Italian boyfriend and we went to Cervinia skiing with his parents because he was also an only child. And then another time I spent Christmas with a boyfriend, we went on holiday a few times. So I've been on holiday a few times. Then I had a dreadful Christmas one year, really dreadful one, with this guy who said he'd spend Christmas Day with me. I reflect on that and think I should have spent Christmas Day with my parents. That was, if you know me and know that I used to work on TV, that was the Christmas before I started working on TV. So it was like, after we'd filmed the VT footage for the TV stuff, I spent Christmas with this guy. It was quite a funny Christmas because we were meant to spend Christmas Day together, and I ended up home alone in my flat most of the day on Christmas Day in London. My parents being in Cheshire and me having a flight to go with him away on Boxing Day, and him seeing his kids, and ending up, all the plans went awry, and I think I ended up going to his house by the time he was done with his children about 5 o'clock. Worse than that, I had no food in my house because it was Christmas Day and because we were going away the next day. Big mistake. So that was a big mistake. We then, ironically, went to LA for Christmas. Some magical healing stuff happened to us there. Healing lights came in. And we did have a reading on Santa Monica Pier. This will make you laugh. And he ditched me on Santa Monica Pier because the psychic said he was going to marry somebody with dark hair. And obviously, as you can see, I have blonde hair. So, and then I came back and I started doing TV stuff on This Morning. like the next day after we flew back after New Year's. So that wasn't great. There's more detail to it, but I'm not going to go into the whole detail of it because it's hilariously funny as I reflect back now. And then after that, I think I spent most of my, I had a dreadful other boyfriend that I refer to as the psychopathic con man. But then I think I spent most of my Christmases with my parents. And then for the last 10 years, well, longer than 10 years, because my mum got dementia and then she passed away 5 years ago. My dad passed away a year ago. So my last few years have really been caring for my parents. And so as I reflected, I don't know about you, let me know about your Christmases in the comments below. So this, when I thought about it, I went through many emotions, maybe like some of you. It's like, oh gosh, you know, it's a new thing for me to be home alone. There were some invites, but actually in reflection, I think their plans changed. And had I have said yes, I think I may have been told, oh, our plans have changed, you can't come anymore. So I think I may well have ended up home alone anyway, because everybody who told me one thing, every single couple or group or single person ended up doing something else. So when I surrendered, and it was the surrender, I totally surrendered into, I am determined to be home alone for Christmas. And then I thought about it and I thought, I've never been in my own home out of choice on Christmas Day, in joy, with food, you know, and it was cracking. I live near Glastonbury. I went to the Chalice Well, which is a magical garden, if you know where that is. It was open. I'm deeply grateful to the Chalice Well for keeping that open, and for lovely Kim, who held space and has done so she told me, for the last 4 years for Christmas Day. So thank you. That was incredible. And then I started to feel a tickle in my throat from what I'm saying to you. I've got a bit of a cold. And then I spent yesterday going to a beautiful place called the Newt with myself, which I often do. I very rarely go there with anybody else. And but because I'm feeling below par, I am actually meant to be in Cornwall. And here's the other irony. I've got a little chalet on the beach called Sea Angel near St Ives in the UK. And I forgot to block it out. So now I have to go to get it ready for some couple to spend New Year's Eve there. So I have to go to twinkle it up and open it up for 2 nights for them. I should be there now, but I'm not, because I don't feel well enough to be travelling that far from where I live. But all in all, you go through all these emotions, and I've seen a lot of videos coming up in the last few days. And as many of you know, I do past life regression, inner child healing, ancestral timeline healing, spirit releasement between lives, light codes, singing. Won't be singing today with my voice. But it's been really reflective. I've seen so many videos popping up about what single people expect from their married or family friends. And I tend to agree with what people were saying. People want to be invited, they want to be included. And then I saw another lady just before I came out. She was making videos about, why don't we celebrate just life? You know, you celebrate a baby shower, you celebrate getting married, but we don't really ever celebrate. What is there for our single friends to celebrate? And I thought, that's really interesting. Yeah, what is there for the single friend? We're going to have a walk now. And we'll look at Glastonbury tour as we walk. But if we don't get married, we don't get engaged. I didn't have a party for my 18th or 21st, and I certainly didn't have one for my 50th because it was the COVID times. But who is going to host the party for you? Because unless you host your own party, which I have done in the past, and I'll be really honest with you, once I organised a birthday lunch, and I had a dreadful experience. I invited this couple to my birthday lunch, who I thought were my best friend at the time. We've since parted ways, but at the time I invited them to my birthday lunch. They said they couldn't make it, they had to work, they're self-employed. And then a few days later, the husband rang me asking me if I could get tickets for the Chelsea Flower Show, because I lived in London near it. And I was like, what day would you like to go? And he said the 22nd of May, which turns out to be my birthday. birthday, and the day I'd invited them to my birthday lunch 2 days or 3 days before. And he was like, oh shit, I forgot. So, you know, the level of friendship that they told me they kept telling me, we're your great friends, but actually they weren't. They weren't my great friends. They didn't want to celebrate my birthday with me. And in truth, that birthday lunch, nobody showed up. One gorgeous friend called Helena came in the evening and brought me a little baby cake. But I think everybody thinks somebody else will show up. And when you are the twinkly, sparkly, happy, joyful person, people always think you're okay. But most twinkly, sparkly, happy people have become okay because people have treated them so badly throughout their lifetime, and from their dysfunctional childhood and parenting and emotionally absent parenting and emotionally unstable parenting, and then becoming the parent to your elderly toddlers, as many of us have gone through. You go through that journey and you become super resilient, super strong. I think you, if you're in my situation, should be super proud of yourselves. I'm super proud of myself because no one else is going to be proud of you. You must be proud of yourself. You must be proud of what you've achieved on your own and done on your own, without anybody helping you. It's almost like you've got where you've got because people put obstacles in your way. And I think now, as we leave 2025 and people are awakening more to what's going on in the world now, so many people are awakening to so many things that I question, but I don't really care. I don't care too much, about the Erica and Charlie story. I don't care which side you stand on, whether you think that was fake or not, because we have to create our own personal reality now. It's not like buying one off the shelf, like the government or the royal families or somebody's giving you a reality to believe in. We get a chance to create our own reality now. And what do we want? Our personal... Oh, look, here comes someone. What do we want our personal realities to be? That's what we get to inquire, what do we want our personal realities to be? And nobody ever comes down this road, hardly ever. So I like to walk down this road. And like I said, I'm going to show you Glastonbury tour. Do you have any questions? Let me see. Hey, you're from Scotland. Thanks for joining me from Scotland. Okay, the new. Will you be having haggis? Will you be having tatties and neeps on Christmas Eve and piping in the haggis? I have actually been to a ceremony here which was truly fabulous in Glastonbury, where we piped in the vegan haggis with Julie Patchouli, who used to sing fabulous songs, another guy called John who used to play harp music. And it was fun, and it was a great restaurant here that closed years and years ago, but it was fabulous. So let's just take in the surroundings of where I am. And if you're in the city or in a country that's sunny, I hope you enjoy the winter. Let me show you some winter berries on the trees. It's not holly though. Can you see the winter berries? Yeah, there we go. Hope you enjoy those. So we'll just mosey on down the road. Does anybody have a question? Let me see. I'm terribly sorry I haven't brought my glasses with me. Whilst I spent many a Christmas alone, I still do believe we are meant to be with a special person. Yes, I do believe that. I genuinely think you're correct. But I think we all come from different places and different... as a therapist, different things have happened in many lifetimes, past lives, inner child, ancestral. In the totality of our experiences of all the lifetimes we've lived, we may well have been a mother in many lives. I always thought I would be a biological mother in this lifetime, but it didn't happen. And I know I've had lots of children in other lifetimes, and you do have to process the grief, the sadness, what comes up. I do think, because of what we've experienced as children, we're vibrationally draw in dysfunctional people, sometimes people who want to be rescued or saved by you. I think there's been a lot of damage to the divine masculine taken place of late, and I think women have put themselves in quite a difficult situation because so many women are being a mother, you know, earning a living, keeping a house, and there's fair few men that take up the share of the chores to the level the women do. It's the women, I hear this, you know, they're the ones organising the children's parties, organising the play dates, organising all this stuff on top of working full time as well and running stuff in the house and that. But, you know, at least they're not the sole provider. And then I know other women. Let's look at this beautiful countryside. Here we go. Look at that. Isn't that spectacular? Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Gorgeous. And some beautiful old trees there. Can you see the beautiful old trees? What do you think about what I'm sharing so far? It's more kind of regular stuff with a little smattering of spiritual stuff and a bit of philosophy thrown in between my cold. I've been trying to spend Christmas Day on my own for 9 years and finally managed it this year. And it was bliss. Wow. Interesting, Terry. Thank you. Yeah, I have to say, I actually found it really blissful. I think the thing is, you kind of think, crumbs, this is really pleasant. You know, I think it's because we've evolved into that space where it's our choice. It's not through drama of something that's happened and you've got to spend it on your own. It's like you've consciously made that choice. And the lady that I bumped into at the Chalice Well in the morning, I was quite taken aback by her because she's a very sparkly, spiritual, star-being lady. But she told me, and I knew her, but she told me she had children and she had grandchildren and she was choosing to spend Christmas Day on her own, even though she could have been with them. And I thought, wow, that's a really, really brave decision to do that for a completely different reason why I'm doing it. Because how would I feel sort of saying to my grandchildren and my children, you know what, I'm not choosing any of you, I'm choosing myself and I'm going to be home alone with myself at Christmas. She was going for lunch with a friend. I've never taken this footpath, but shall we take it? Like on the road less travelled. Why not? Let's do something new with you all, something I've never done before. And it is definitely a footpath. So we won't be intruded here. We can have the time to ourselves as we... Oh, look at that cute little bridge. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? Seeing as I've never been on this path before. How cute is that? Normally I take the road. And if you're new to me, I haven't got wellies on, but I've got boots on that don't really matter so much. Behind this hedge, a very, very famous actor owns the house there. And spiritually, the back of his garden is on an energy grid. And I know that because a friend was checking the ley lines. If you're into ley lines, I will talk at tangents. A friend was checking the ley lines and he said, oh, there's this energy grid at the back of your house in the field behind your house. And I was like, wow, interesting, because that is an A-list celebrity's second home or third home. The actor Nicolas Cage's house is behind me. He's hardly ever there. I did get summoned to the house by the housekeeper once, but it was a day when I had to cut my braces off my teeth in the night because the pain of the braces was giving me flashbacks of painful past lives. And also that can happen. It might sound crazy and nuts what I'm saying, but when you anchor your teeth into a certain way of being, it can trigger trauma and past lives. And also it's really bad for your spine actually if you have fixed braces on internally even after you've straightened them, because they will move again in general. You know, you're holding your neck in a position it shouldn't be. That's another story for another day on our health and well-being. But hey-ho, so I had chopped the braces off in the night, and so I had to decline the kindly offer to visit Mr. Cage because I had to go to the dentist because I chopped the wires with my nail clippers of all things. So that was quite a story. Oh, let's enjoy the tour. Let's see Glastonbury tour in the background. Can you see it in the background? Let me zoom in so you can get a better view. Can you see Glastonbury tour there? Can you see it in the background? Yeah, I'll zoom out again. So, anyone got? I just have a look. I do apologise if I'm squinting to read. Sorry. It's great to. I can't see. I've decided to have Christmas. Yeah, it's so good. Oh, I can't read. I can't read. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening. I just thought we'll have a little roam around in the countryside. Look at that. Can you hear the silence? Just hear the silence. Breathing out. So, what I would say about 2026 is, in a time when we don't use pen and paper so much, I really think we need to get a pen and paper out, get your Sharpie marker pens out, and draw yourself in a future timeline of 2026. When I broke my ankle and healed that naturally, I did all these affirmations and I put myself in a future timeline. It's very important the colours of pens you use as well, because it goes into the brain on a different level. So you want to draw what you want for 2026 for yourself. Think about where you want to see yourself. Don't worry about how you're going to get to where you want, you know? So draw yourself as happy, joyful, in peace, in partnership, in joy, in happiness, in abundance of being and opportunities and the sunshine if you want the sunshine, or what you want for you in 2026. So draw that. Use colours, use bright colours on your Sharpie marker pen, and, you know, draw yourself like an affirmation board for 2026. And, you know, put countries if you want to go to countries. Put the dates, put yourself in there. There's a nice house in the background. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. There you go. So, you know, put what you want to manifest in 2026, because you are the master of your destiny. And all this talk of, you know, Enki and Enlil and all that, it just keeps us in the warring faction of good and bad, you know? And I think they were genetically manipulated. I don't think they seeded us in the beginning, although people like, you know, Elena Danama, there's a lot of controversy around her if you follow her. But if you listen enough to what she's said since she came into the public eye in the last 5 years, she has contradicted herself quite a lot, in my humble opinion. And, you know, I've listened to some of the videos she hasn't taken down because they're on other people's channels. And, you know, I've seen her saying her next sci-fi book is coming out in some people's channels, and I think that's kind of about right. And I think she's an amazing writer of sci-fi. You know, I support her being a woman, speaking her mind, whether it's the truth or more her truth. That's the thing. You know, just let people have their truths. And we don't want to kind of have a go at them, but when they've you know, celebrated regression because their memories came up from that. Although I'm not a fan of QHHT sessions, I do not do QHHT. I created my own regression technique from experience of doing regression work for 25 years. And I really think it's important that you don't call on the lords of karma, which QHHT sessions do. And I think it's very important that you are able to release entities if the person's got entities attached. And so a lot of what I do is spirit releasement work, going back to the emotional cohesion between you and the entity. I think it's very important that you have the ability to do inner child healing work as well with people at the same time. Apologise while I put my gloves on because it is a little bit chilly willy out here. I may have lost a glove. Oh crumbs, I've lost a glove now. Wait 1 second while we... Oh my goodness me. I've lost my favourite glove. We're going to have to go back. Come back with me. And we're going to have to call on Saint Anton now, because Saint Anton is the patron saint of lost things. And we just say, Saint Anton, bring back to me that which is lost to me. And hopefully my glove is going to come back. The fact is that I had 2 gloves when I left the house, and I have gone on a path. Well, although I haven't travelled this field before, I have gone on a path that I pretty much know quite well. So I don't think I've lost it there. Hopefully this glove's going to come back to me, because I tell you what, it's pretty chilly. And I'm quite fond on these gloves, even though some of you know my parents died and I've inherited 150 pairs of calf leather gloves. But they're not quite the same as these ones. So let's just see where I've dropped my glove. Retracing my steps as we go, and keeping an eye out for it. I hope I looked properly enough down there and I haven't lost it back there. But the good thing is nobody will take my glove, because not many people come this way. But we'll see where the glove is, and hopefully it will be reunited with me shortly, and my hand. So, going back to talking about past lives and other dimensions, and you know, I tend to not agree with a lot of people out there just now, but then they haven't been therapists for 25 years and they haven't seen what I've seen, and you know, they're speaking from their own personal experience of their vibration and where they're personally at. Oh dear, it looks like I lost this glove further back. Hold on one second. Bear with me, people. We will get there. It appears that I haven't lost it anywhere here. Let's see. Let's see where it is. Saint Anton isn't helping very quickly today, is he? I've been proud of myself for holding on to these gloves for so long. It's a bit like when you buy an umbrella. I always think that when you're buying an umbrella, you're not really buying it for you, you're buying it for the person who's going to find it, because for sure you will leave it somewhere at some point. So I take that belief with a lot of things, that you're not buying it for yourself, you're buying it for whoever's going to find. Whoa, can you see the birds murmurating? Wow, thousands of them. Can you see it? Can you see the birds murmurating? Thousands of them. Wow, did you see it? Did you see the birds? Did you see thousands of starlings? I'm always worried because I think the birds are going to shit on me. And it's true, they did once. I mean, it's supposed to be good luck. But the birds did all poop, all at the same time once over my car. You could hardly see my car for bird poop. I thought it was incredible that they all pooped at the same time. The thing is, though, that they'll be back in a minute and they'll fly over again. Hold on one second. Let's just get that way up. I'm having to walk home now to check for the glove. I hope it isn't in the field and I've just overlooked it. I'll be very sad if that's the case and I just didn't look properly. So, does anyone else have another question? Sorry, one second. Wait 1 second. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying Somerset. Hi, Lisa. Happy Christmas to you. Yeah, it's hard to concentrate on talking to you while my mind is full with looking for a glove. It is quite funny, though. And I've had this little scarf, this new thing. It's absolutely cutesy as can be around my neck. I've had it many years and I do love it. It's very cute. It's looking a bit sad for the glove. It must still be somewhere at home, I fear. Or I maybe dropped it by the fence when we started our live stream. And I'm sorry. Oh, here they go again. Hold on. Can you see them? Not as many. Not as many. as there were. It's spectacular. If you've never seen the starlings doing a murmuration, it truly is incredible. So we're still looking out for the glove. We've not seen it yet. Does anybody have a spiritual question? I know I was talking about doing Christmas solo, and obviously this is what it's turned into, my ramblings on the 28th. And I haven't even had a lemsip today. Even though I'm spiritual, I do love a lem. I do think there's some magical thing. I think it's a childhood memory, isn't it, of things like lemsip. Normally I don't take mainstream medicine in that way, but I do think there's something very charming about a lemsip. And very comforting, I think. So if you're new to me, I will sound different the next time if I haven't turned you away already, but I will sound very different. I won't quite be so throaty sounding, maybe. Anyway, we're still looking out for this glove, which I have no idea if it's ever going to show itself to me. We may have to go all the way home to see if the glove's there, and then we'll maybe come out again later. But do you have a question? Hold on one second. How do you protect yourself from negative energy? To be honest with you, if you're starting to protect yourself from negative energy, you're missing the whole point. The point is to increase your vibration so there's nothing to protect yourself from, because you're not in fear or paranoia, you know? When your vibration gets to a certain point, you don't need to protect yourself. You know, again, there's so much delusion in this. I mean, you can go on workshops on how to protect yourself, but isn't it better to do the inner work to increase your personal vibration? And of course, at times your personal vibration is going to drop. You know, look what happened to me. I've got a cold. I think something happened going into the cathedral, you know. But we know that a cold is a detox. It increases your immune system. And it's actually a good thing to get one at this time of year, because it increases your immunity for the next period going forward. So it increases your immune system. So it's probably a good thing, and maybe too much information. But a week before Christmas Bimble, a vision! I see it! Da, 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 come with me. Well, we're reunited and it feels so good. Woo. It's worth losing it just for the thrill of finding it again. Reunited in the neighbourhood. Woo, look at me. See that glove? Oh, there she is. Oh, loved one, come back to me. I never thought this was where she was. Look. There she is. Oh, come back to me, Glovey. Lovey, we're back, reunited. Woo! See, now I will answer your question about protecting yourself, but the joy of being reunited with your glove is temporarily worth losing it for the joy of feeling happy of being reunited. How happy is that? So yeah, you know, that feels super, super good to be reunited with my glove. I'm going to pop it on because my fingers are turning like frostbite. Not to be a bit of a drama queen, but it's a little bit chilly to be holding this and not have my gloves on. But I can't really scroll it to read your comments so much once I've put my gloves on. But I hope you feel as thrilled as I am for me and my glove to be reunited like that. Let me just see, sorry. We see any other messages. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so back to the plot of protecting ourselves. Now, you can put yourself in a bubble of white light protection. You can imagine yourself in a mirrored room with the mirrors facing outwards so the people don't see you, they just see themselves. That's about you becoming invisible in other dimensions. But, you know, you do become invisible in other dimensions. So, you know, because I do believe it's a holographic universe and all dimensions and realities coexist, you tend to disappear into not existing in other dimensions of reality. So, you know, let's crack on with our... Oh, hello, the starlings are coming back again. Crumbs. But not all of them. I mean, there are so many. I'm so lucky they didn't poop on me then, you know, because they have in the past. So we won't go back over the field, and I am running out of battery. I'm down to 20% now. So going back to the protection, don't you think it's better to do the inner work on yourself so you don't need the protection, so you can live in a higher frequency? And I know this is true because I'm about to tell you a really fascinating story. I'd like to lean on the fence to tell it you, but it's so muddy. So I feel because it's such a great story I'm going to tell you, I've got to stop for the gravitas, and I hope we don't run out of battery before the gravitas of the story. But once upon a time in my house, a friend gifted me, in fact, it was the friend that we started with the story of the birthday thing. Anyway, they gifted me this syrup they'd made, and I don't really drink stuff with lots of sugar in. So I didn't use it, and I was grateful for the gift, but I should have rehomed it earlier. Anyway, I didn't rehome it, and one hot summer day, I think the sugar had fermented so much in the jar with the push down thing that they'd bought me that it exploded when I opened the fridge door. But not only did this glass jar explode with blackcurrant syrup going all up the walls, up the ceiling, thousands of bits of glass shattered across my kitchen and up the stairs, and I looked down at myself and there was no blackcurrant juice on me, not one drop, and it was on the ceiling, it was all everywhere, not on any of my clothes, and yet the fridge was a floor fridge, and I opened the door and all there was one tiny shard of glass in my knee, but tiny shard, not a drop of blackcurrant juice was on me, which made me believe that we can bend reality with our frequency. Now, by the law of physics and quantum physics, the shards of glass and the blackcurrant juice should have hit me, not gone around me or through me, but by some strange nature of the true nature of reality, they had either gone round me or through me, but not touched me. It was incredible. You know, it's stuck with me to this day as an amazing example of bending reality and dimensions by your frequency. You know, so it tells you, it shows you what is within potential and what is possible when we get out of the linear three-dimensional reality, which is trying to be sold to you by the media, by TV. They don't really want you getting out of your box too much, you know, but the potential for you is huge if you heal your inner self, you know, from where the programming came in for limiting lacks and beliefs. And as a therapist of 25 years doing woo-woo spiritual stuff with it, I will tell you that once you go inside yourself and start healing the inner child in you, and you can do it on your own, but it's much easier to do it with someone else because then you can see the ego aspect of yourself. Look at that. I have to show you that. Look at these apples. They've kind of got wedged on the tree. How funny is that? They've got wedged on the hedges. They've been eaten by animals and birds, and you know, I should have picked some of these back in October maybe. But they've all fallen off now, and it is what it is. And I hope you're enjoying my stories and my nature ramblings from going solo at Christmas. Because if I wasn't going solo at Christmas, right, I wouldn't be making this video for you now. This is only because I have gone solo for Christmas and I haven't yet driven to Cornwall to go and zhuzh up my chalet, Sea Angel Vintage Beach Chalet on Airbnb, which you can look up, which again, if you're new to me, I kid you not, this is my truth of how I bought it. I was meditating when I lived in London back in 2007, and the vision of my beautiful chalet came into my vision, a white chalet with baby blue windows, and the message I got from the spirit world was, if you Google it, you'll find it. And it was 2007. We didn't Google as much back then. But I Googled, it took me 3 days, and I found this chalet for sale in Cornwall, and I had never even been to Cornwall at that point. And I was, more starlings, I was guided by the spirit world to buy the chalet, and I've had it ever since. And there's more stories on chalets and properties. And, you know, I healed a past life fear of mortgages, and then I bought the house that I used to have in Marazion where St. Michael's Mount is, but I have subsequently sold that house. And that was a holiday let as well. So I feel like, you know, that guy who gets excited, the train spotter guy, what's his name, goes, oh, train, oh, so exciting. That's how I felt when I was reunited with my glove a few minutes ago. So anyway, yeah, I do enjoy him. He's great, isn't he? He's truly great, that young man. Let me see any other comments before I will have to twinkle off. If you're admiring this ring, that's the other thing, you know, because I talk at tangents about such important things. When my parents died, I did actually put this in the auction, but there's a whole bigger story of why I pulled it out. But basically, I got carried away and I was trying to sell the furniture to the auctioneer to put in the auction. But he ended up talking me into jewellery, and I actually pulled the jewellery that he talked me into selling in the auction. I pulled it out. So really, really, if you're dealing with a loved one's estate, don't sell the small items really quickly because they don't take up much space. Try and get rid of the bigger items because they take up space. You know, unless you desperately need the money straight away, don't sell the jewelry and the small items, you know, wait till you're in a good place mentally, because I nearly got rid of this and I'm so glad I didn't get rid of this, and I called it back from the auctioneers. So just a top tip there, when you're dealing with grief, take your time. You don't have to rush anything. Just really, really take your time, do what's right for you at the pace you can do it with. And if you're like me and you end up having to do it on your own with no partner, no children, no siblings, no parent helping you clear your parents' stuff, really, really take your time, because your emotional well-being is of more value than wrapping up the estate really quickly. Just take your time and keep your own life going as well, you know, at the pace that you can cope with, because it will take you perhaps a couple of years, you know, depending on the level of stuff. As many of you know, I have opened a shop up north selling my parents' stuff. Called, it's in Dagfield's Vintage Antique Centre near Nantwich. It's Unit 28, should you wish to go there and trawl through my parents' treasures. And I am also, oh, they're doing a gorgeous murmuration now. Oh my goodness, so pretty. Oh, I've been shit on. I have been shit on, I think so. I felt it. I have been shit on. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's going wild now. Oh, we've got to stay for this. I hope my battery lasts. I don't know if it's going to come back again. They were doing such an incredible figuration. It was incredible. Anyway, back to me trying to flog my wares to you. I am Vintage Diary 22 on Vinted. I'm putting some of my parents' treasures there. Like I said, if you're in Nantwich in Cheshire, I'm Unit 28 at Dagfields. I'm doing what I can. You know, I am quite entrepreneurial underneath it all, you know, and it's who I am at a core thing. You know, I've always been self-employed, and that's the other thing. If you want to be self-employed, check you've got the skill set to do it. It's all I know. I've been self-employed since I was 18 years of age. You know, I've gone from modelling and gone into my spiritual awakening, into being a therapist for 25 years and doing, you know, odd little other things within the realms of that spectrum of all those things. And so that's what I say, know who you are at the core. If you're more of an employee person, you feel safer and it doesn't burn out your adrenal glands and your immune system. If it frazzles you too much, being self-employed, don't do it unless you're going to do the inner work to change your vibration. If you're not going to do the inner work, stay where you're at. That's probably the best advice I would give you. But we're all about going solo at Christmas. That's where we began. You know, we began talking about going solo. Well, it's been cracking for me. What can I say? I'm almost like, it's been so good going solo at Christmas. I'm like, would I want this to carry on? But the other thing that came up for me during losing my parents, the last one in the last year, I was like, oh my God, you know, because I'm so spiritual and, you know, how would I want my twilight years to be? But you have to live in the now and not worry too much about that and trust that some beautiful beings will come into your reality that have the same thoughts and beliefs as you and will honour your wishes, and honour what you would like to happen to you. I do think it takes 72 hours for the soul to leave the body. Quantum physics and Buddhism say the same thing. So I do think we need to honour the body for 72 hours if possible and where possible. And I'm very thrilled that I was able to, by divine intervention and my own intervention with my mother, keep my parents out of dying in a hospital, and they both died at home in their own house. And my dad at 98 and 100 days, fully dressed in his tweed jacket, having had half a cup of tea, as he would want it to be. So I send you all so much love. My battery is going to run out. The starlings haven't come back. I'm super happy if you've stayed with me. I wish I could talk more. We have more to share another day, another time. Let us convene again. But before I disappear, a little bit more. Let me show you a Glastonbury tour, and I am desperately holding on to the glove. Oh, there's a car coming, just because the thrill of losing the finding it again isn't something I like to do all the time. Wait 1 second while I just get this glove on. We'll have a little look at Glastonbury tour for those of you who've just joined me. And I will get out of the middle of the road for a car that's coming. I do live in the house that looks like it belongs in that film, The Holiday. And so hold on 1 second. So I am in the countryside of Somerset. Don't know that lady. I am in the countryside of Somerset, and so we will just look at the panoramic view of Glastonbury. Hold on 1 second. Let me spin it round so you may all have the vista of Glastonbury Tour. Can you see it in the distance? Can you see the Glastonbury Tour in the distance? It's getting a bit misty now. Oh, I can hear the owls, and it's a bit early for an owl. I don't think you can hear the owls. No, I think you can hear the wind. The wind is what you can hear. And oh, let me tell you this. This is going to blow your mind. I've never got over it. Because we've got battery, I'm just going to show you this. Okay, let me hope you can see it. Can you see these baubles hanging off the trees? Can you see like little round baubles hanging on the trees? Yes? Can you see them? What do you think they are? For years, I thought they were birds' nests. Can you see the baubles hanging on the trees? Can you see a bauble? Do you know what the baubles are? Guess what the baubles are? The baubles are mistletoe balls. Who knew? Who knew they're mistletoe balls? Blew my mind when I found that out. It was the most exciting thing. Let's go and look at them at closer quarters. Hold on 1 second. Let's look at that. It's a mistletoe ball. Can you see it? Can you see the mistletoe balls? How incredible is that? Oh, and the teasy weezies. Can you see the teasy weezies? These are teasy weezy thistles. If you go to the National Trust, they put these on the chairs to stop you sitting on them. It's their polite way of telling you not to sit on things. Can you see the mistletoe? How great is that? Well, I am going to have to say goodbye, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me this evening, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me. It's been a fun walk. I've enjoyed sharing with you. Oh, there's more baubles over there. So, much love. It's Andrea Foulkes, andreafoulkes.com. You know, for my proper clients, you know what I do. I'm online doing sessions with you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow till I recover. But I'm back seeing clients in London on the 11th of January for my 2-hour regression sessions. And my other ones are half an hour, and they're online. And they are 9 a.m. UK time to 8 p.m. UK time most days. And as you know, this is on my YouTube channel. I have loads of videos from when I used to work on TV doing past life regression. I cringe a little bit at how badly they're edited these days, because it was 20 odd years ago, and how I work professionally it's very different. Remember, they are edited, but they are good fun and they are worth looking at, and you may enjoy them if you're interested in past lives. So goodbye everybody, much love, many blessings from the Isle of Avalon in the UK, and I've got to work out how to end this. So much love, have a beautiful evening, day, wherever you are. Much love, and we'll speak again soon. Bye.